Hi everybody! So for tonight's homework, we are going to do another practice problem of what we worked on today in class. And since now we've had a couple of days to go through this type of problem, hopefully we can start remembering the steps that we have to follow in order to get our final answer. There are a couple of formulas involved as well. So I'm going to read the problem and then we'll get started. So it says Linda and George obtained an installment loan of $2,460. The APR, which is the percentage, is 9% for 12 monthly payments. How much interest will Linda and George be charged? So in class, we know that there are 3 steps in total. And our first step involves a formula that can be a little bit complicated. So we want to make sure that we start with a fraction, and on top of that fraction, we have the amount of the loan. On the bottom of the fraction, we have a number that stays the same no matter what, and that number happens to be 100 because it's representing $100. And then we take whatever we get after dividing and we multiply it by a number that we are actually not given in the problem. It's the monthly payment for a $100 loan. And this number is something that we are going to get using our chart. So before we do that, let's start by filling in our formula with the information we do have. So we want to start by filling in the amount of the loan. So if we take a look at our word problem here, the amount of the loan is stated in the very first sentence, and it's $2,460. So that's going to go on top. And then we're going to divide all that by 100. Then whatever we get, we're going to multiply it by that number. Now that number, again, is not given to us. It's in the chart. But in order to use the chart, there are 2 pieces of information that we have to remember. And there's only 2 pieces of information left in this problem that we haven't used yet, which is that the percent is 9%, and that the length of the term, or how long this person has to pay back the loan, is 12 months. 12 months. Okay, so we're going to keep that in mind when we go to our chart, 9%, 12 months. So here's the chart down here. We could start with the percents. So we're looking at the top. Let's just highlight the list so everybody can see. These are all of the percentages. And the percent that we care about is 9%, because that's what the problem gave us. So in that highlighted section, I want you to look for the number 9%. Now, they write it a little different. They write 9.00, but it's the same thing. It's still 9%, and it is right here. Now, let's use a different color. In the blue list, these numbers represent how long the person has, and we also know that information. They told us that they have 12 months, so we're going to circle 12. So now what we have to do is we have to take those 2 numbers, and we have to meet in the middle. So if we meet in the middle, I'm going to draw a line down. I'm going to draw a line to the right. As soon as these lines get to a point where they're going to touch, that's when you know you've hit your number. So this box right here, this represents the number that we need to use, which is 8.75. So that's what we're going to fill in here, 8.75. Okay, and we now need to do the math. Thankfully, we have a calculator for that. So I'm going to pull up the calculator. Here we are. And we're going to put in what it gave us. So we're starting with 2,460 divided by 100. That's how it starts. We take whatever we get and we multiply it by 8.75. And our final answer comes to $215.25. So this number represents the monthly payment. So how much you're paying every month in order to pay back this loan. So every month, Linda and George are going to pay $215.25 to pay this back. Okay, but the goal here is how much interest are they being charged? And we know that there's always going to be a little bit of interest, that extra price that we have to pay. So in step 2, we need to think about how much we are going to be paying back overall. So we know that every month we're paying $215.25, but there are 12 months that Linda and George have to pay it back. So we need to take those two things of information and we need to multiply them. So if we have, remember, we always use whatever we started with in step 1. We use our answer for step 2. So we talked about in class today. So we're going to use our answer and we're going to take that answer and we're going to multiply it with the number of months. And the number of months is 12. And once again, our handy dandy calculator is going to help us out on this one. So we're going to take, I already have the number in here, which is great, and we're going to multiply it by 12. And our answer comes to 2,583. Sorry, a little bit sloppy. All right, now that we've reached our last step. So and you can think about, I want you to think about it now. Just like in step 2, we used our answer from step 1. So in step 3, we're going to use our answer from step 2. See how it's carrying down? So we're going to write this number, but now this is up to you guys if you can remember what operation is used in step 3. So we have to use subtraction. So we're going to subtract whatever it is that our loan cost. So the amount of the loan we're using again. We used it in step 1 right here. I'm going to point to it. And we're going to use it again in step 3. So 2,460. So let's just take a look at these numbers for a second. So this first number represents the total payment. This is how much Linda and George paid back. They paid all this money. But this amount is how much the loan was. So I want you to notice that the total payment is more than the loan because they didn't just pay back the loan, they also paid back interest. So by subtracting, we're going to figure out what that difference is. We're going to figure out how much that interest extra charge was. So let's figure it out. We're going to take this number and we're going to subtract 2,460. And our final answer comes to 123. And that is how you find the interest on a simple interest installment loan. Okay? So hopefully now that we've had a chance to go over this a couple times, you guys feel a little bit better about it. And that is it. All right, bye everybody.